Good day, Deep in Word family. Welcome to day 78 of our Bible study review. Today we're going through chapters 13 through 15. As we open up chapter 13, we see that the children of Israel fall once again into apostasy. And it says that the Philistines had power over them for 40 years. But Yahuwah had a plan to save his people. And so we see that his plan is starting to work out to raise up a judge named Samson. The story opens up with a man named Manoah. He's from the tribe of Dan, and it says that his wife is barren. She is without child. Notice throughout all of these Bible stories, it seems like the Heavenly Father purposely goes to the closed wombs to open them up and birth forth strong leaders. So the angel of Yahuwah goes to Manoah's wife and tells her, "You will have a son, but you have specific instructions. You are not to eat anything ritually unclean. You are not to eat or drink anything from the vine. In all of his days, his hair shall never see the razor." Manoah's wife comes to him and she tells him everything that this man of Elohim spoke to her. And she said he looks like an angel of God. And so immediately we see that Manoah seeks the face of Yahuwah and he prays to him. And he says, "Please let the angel of Yahuwah come to us again to give us specific instructions on how to raise up this boy." We are to seek his face and his words, his commands, his spirit on how to shelter, how to guide, how to edify, and bring up the children of Yah. So we see that Yahuwah listens to this prayer. And so the angel comes to Manoah's wife again. And while the angel is in the field, the wife of Manoah goes to him and she tells him, "Look, come quickly, he's here." And this is what Manoah says to the angel. Let's read from verse 12. "Now may your words come true. What will be the boy's way of life and his work?" Verse 13, "The angel of Yahuwah said to Manoah, your wife must observe everything that I said to her. She must not consume anything that grows on the vine. She must not drink wine or strong drink. She must not eat anything ritually unclean. She must observe everything that I commanded her." Do y'all get the hint? Do you see the picture? Because even though Samson was not a perfect man, and we're going to get to his story, but we know that Messiah never ate anything ritually unclean. He only did or moved or said what the Father said. He did nothing apart from his command. That's where the power lies. Manoah is overjoyed at this point and he wants to sacrifice, right? He wants to sacrifice a goat and give some food to this man, but he doesn't know that this man is actually the angel of Yahuwah. And so the angel says, "I will not eat your food, but if you want to make a free will offering to Yahuwah, please do so." And so Manoah does. He sacrifices this goat in a grain offering on a rock. And it says that the fire of Yahuwah came down and consumed the sacrifice, the free will offering. And the angel of Yahuwah, when that fire cloud went back up, the angel went back up with it. Manoah said to his wife, he said, "Surely we will die because we have seen God." And she was like, "Silly rabbit." She said, "If Yahuwah wanted to kill us, he would not have accepted our offering, nor would he have shown us these things. We wouldn't have been allowed to hear these things if his plan was to end us." And so it says that Samson is born and he starts to grow up very strong. Now we open up chapter 14 and Samson is grown at this point and he sees a woman down in Timnah. And this is the land of the Philistines. And he wants her for his wife. So he tells his mother and his father. And he says, "Go down, get her for me. I want her for my wife." And they plead with him. They're like, "Can you not find someone of your own relatives? Someone who is circumcised? Why must you enter into covenant with the uncircumcised Philistine?" Now again, circumcision represents rolling back the reproach of the world, of different deities. The circumcision represents that you're born of the kingdom. Now we know that the circumcision is of the heart now, but back then it was sealed in their flesh. And so they're pleading with him, "Do not enter into covenant with those who are not in covenant with our God." Let's read verses 3 and 4. "Yet Samson said to his father, 'Get her for me, for she pleases me well.' His father and his mother did not know that this was from Yahuwah, for he was seeking an opportunity to act against the Philistines. At that time, the Philistines were ruling over Israel." This goes to show us that Yahuwah Elohim is truly in control. He will place a desire on someone's heart to fulfill his word and his plan in the earth. Yes, even those who are not of his covenant. Now we move forward and it says that they were heading down to Timnah all together as a family since Samson wanted to take this woman for his wife. And it says on the way that a roaring lion came towards Samson. And it says that the spirit of Yahuwah came upon him, and he ripped the lion to pieces. Somehow, some way, his parents must not have been near him, because it says that he did not tell his parents what he had done. He went down to go speak with her, and he must have gone back home and came back to receive her as a wife. And it says on the way, he looked for the dead carcass of the lion, and inside was honey, and he went to go feed his parents. Samson goes to put on a feast because that's what you do in a Hebrew wedding. There's a wedding feast, and it usually takes place for 7 days. And so it says that he makes a riddle. And all of those who are his companions in the wedding, in the feast, right? He goes to challenge them with a riddle. And he says, if you can find out this riddle, and he gives them like a little code. He says, if you can figure this out, he goes, I'll give you 30 changes of clothes. You got to understand that back then, that was a lot. Many people wore the same garments for at least a week at a time. So he said, 30 robes and 30 changes of clothes for the 30 men who were among them. And he says, but if you can't figure out the riddle, then you must do that for me. So Samson told the 30 men who I guess were in the wedding feast, the Philistines, that they had 7 days, right? The days of the wedding feast to figure out this riddle because they agreed to the terms. And on the 4th day, they got nervous. So they came to Samson's wife and they told her, tell us this riddle. We can't figure this out. Have you invited us to this feast just to strip us of what we have? They told her, tell us the riddle or we will burn down your house with you and your father in it. Samson's wife pleaded with Samson and she nagged him to get an answer. And it says on the 7th day that he broke down and told her before the sun set. So she went back to the Philistines, the 30 men, and she told them the riddle. They came back to Samson and told the riddle to him. And he said, if you had not plowed my heifer, you never would have figured out this riddle. So he was angered. The strength of Yahuwah filled him. And it says he went into another town and stripped 30 men of their clothes and gave it to the men. Samson was so angry after that he went to his father's house. Now the tradition in a wedding feast is that on the 7th day, when everything is finished, right, you go and consummate your vows with your wife. Samson did not do that. He was so angry at the situation, he went back to his father's house. So the father of his wife, his father-in-law, gave his wife away to the best man because he figured that Samson hated her. Now we walk into chapter 15 and we see that Samson has cooled down a little bit. So now he wants to go and take his wife and consummate those vows. And as he goes to the bride's house, right, she's still living in her father's house. And so he goes and he's like, where's my wife? I want to lay with my wife. And the father's like, I thought you hated my daughter, so I gave her away to the best man. And the anger of Samson burned, literally. Samson says, I cannot be blamed this time for what I do to the Philistines. So he goes and he finds 30 foxes. He ties up their tails and he sets torches to their tails and lets them loose in their vineyards, in their fields, and he burns up everything. The Philistines grow angry and they ask, who has done this? They're made aware that it was Samson. So then they go to burn his wife and her father in their house. Samson hears the report and he says, I will take revenge on the Philistines, and after this I will stop. But it says that the Philistines go to make war against Judah. Judah comes to Samson and they say, we're just going to tie you up and bring you to the Philistines, but we will not harm you. So Samson agrees. They tie him up with 2 ropes. But then the strength of Yahuwah overpowers those ropes and burns it away. And then he attacks the men with the jawbone of a donkey. And it says that 1,000 men were slain that day. The chapter ends with Yahuwah refreshing Samson with water. And it says that he judged for 20 years. Deep and Word family, tomorrow we will continue on the story of Samson. Until we meet again, Yah bless.